Today we're going to be talking about the greatest fucking show to ever exist, Kamen Gaim. Let's fucking go. Kamen Gaim is a show written by Gen Urobuchi, and I literally screamed out loud every single time I watched an episode of this show. Gaim is actually peak. Like, genuinely peak. I know I'm probably not really known for my, justifiable opinions, but I can actually agree with the fan base here and tell you the Kamen Gaim is a show you actually need to watch if you're in the Toku fandom. Even if you don't like Kamen Rider, just watch Gaim and you'll be hooked. Gaim has a beautiful set of characters that include the kid that reminds the teacher that there's homework. I've got the personality of a fucking cardboard box. The best character to ever grace a TV show. Sit on my face now. I'm the worst character to ever grace a fucking TV show. Mitsuzane, or just Michii for short, is a character in Kamen Rider Gaim who becomes Kamen Rider Ryu again. He's the worst part of the goddamn show. He is so bad. Initially, he starts off as a sort of semi-protagonist to Kota, but then he switches from being nice guy to being an incel. Whoa! As you've already seen, I also kind of dislike Mai as a character because she's boring, but she has all the plot relevance in the world. So what's Michii's biggest flaw? He has literally no reason to become evil whatsoever. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, bro was blackmailed by Takatora, but, like, afterwards he could have just, like, stopped. He also then throws basically any sense out of the window whatsoever and decides that he wants to basically kill everyone on the planet that isn't named Mai. And you could slowly now begin to see how two of the worst characters in the show are blending together, makes them the worst characters in the show. Plus, not to mention, he literally throws his own brother off of a fucking cliff. He murders his own brother. Sort of. But he still throws him off a cliff. All of this so he can take over Takatora's company, Yggdrasil, and literally do nothing with it. Like, he literally becomes head of the company and does absolutely nothing in that position. Ryoma literally does more than him. And that's saying something. Anyway, after a few shenanigans in the final episodes, basically, Michii fucking kills Kota, but it's fine, he comes back later. And then, guess what? The last episode of Kamen Rider Gaim is a Michii focus episode. He gets redeemed. He gets redeemed. He gets redeemed. Okay, right, hang on. I'm just gonna go take my medication, because this redemption literally makes no sense. He does nothing to earn it throughout the course of the series. Like, what does he actually do? He fucking stabs Kota and then just hides for, like, 3 months, according to the show, that is. And he gets redeemed for just stepping outside of his house? What? Look, like, I don't mean to have a go here at anyone, but, like, if most people could be redeemed by walking out of their house, then every single League of Legends player would have turned to God by this point. Like, if it was that easy, then everyone would have done it. Also, why does Michii get special treatment? Why does Takatora have to just be lying dead in a hospital when he's, like, one of the best characters in the show? Why does this fucking twerp have to fucking get the redemption, bro? And it's even worse because we don't see Kota much at all in the last episode of Gaim. So you are literally just stuck with Hase and Michii. Hase is the much better fucking character in this episode, and why it wasn't his focus episode is fucking beyond me. I think, though, that the main thing that annoys me about Michii is that his motivation for doing what he's doing really comes out of nowhere. He sort of develops this rather weird obsession with Mai, and he just kind of runs with it for the rest of the show. It's almost like Gen Urobuchi had something else planned, but somebody at Toei told him no, and as payback, he just made Michii a raging incel. It's really weird, and don't even get me started on that scene where he, like, takes her to Helheim and puts her in a dress. Ugh. They really made a good job at making sure nobody likes this character. And plus, not to mention, when Mai fucking bites the dust towards the end of Gaim, Michii says he's, like, incomplete now and that he's just gonna kill everyone. But the only issue is at the start of the show, he saw her as very much a friend. But we never actually get to see him develop a crush on her, like, at all. So his whole, oh, the world took Mai from me, so now I'll take the world from everybody else shtick that he's got going on just feels really forced. Plus, again, not to mention, his actor is kind of dog shit at acting. He's really stiff with it, and, like, his performance lacks absolutely any life whatsoever. So it's even harder to believe that bro has a crush on Mai when his actor can't convey it at all. There are a few decent things about Michii that I think are just okay. They're not good, but they're okay. One of those things from a character point of view is how in a lot of episodes, he's almost kind of like the opposite viewpoint from Kota. Kota is just sort of like, why do we have to keep on fighting? I want world peace type of guy. Whereas Michii is like, you're fucking stupid, Kota. That's not the way the world works. And I think that's a really good reflection of Takatora's influence on Michii, which is also something they loop back, and it comes full circle in the finale where Takatora admits that he's been kind of a shit influence on Michii, which that was just a really nice sort of character triangle moment, which, by the way, I love Kota and Takatora, so maybe that's probably why I'm probably really biased. And to be fair, in his redemption episode, Michii doesn't want to be redeemed either. So, and with the whole being like an opposite viewpoint to Kota type of thing, Kota believes that, especially after when they learn about Yuya, they should start telling the Team Gaim members about what's going on. But Michii is like, don't you dare do that, because they know you're Kamen Rider Gaim, and they'll think, wow, how could you kill Yuya? And they won't understand. That type of opposition between two riders is why I personally watch Kamen Rider. That type of drama is something that Gaim does really well. And I will be the first person to admit that it does not fuck up that rider versus rider drama at all. Another season that's really, and I mean really exceptional at doing that is X-Aid. I'm only 10 episodes in, and the amount of conflict going on between the riders is immense. It just really gives the show a nice little hook that keeps you watching. And I think anyone who's watched Gaim will know by this point that Michii takes Takatora's driver in the end and turns into Shin Zangetsu to kind of trick Kota. I'm gonna say that's a really good character moment for Michii. It's kind of a shitty one for Kota, though. Because just before this, and I'm going to assume this would have at least been a week before Michii fucking threw his brother off a cliff, Takatora basically told everyone at Yggdrasil that there was no need to keep on targeting Kota because they shared the same viewpoints. Kota never questions why out of nowhere Takatora just begins attacking him. He doesn't even consider mind control as like an option. He's just like, oh, he changed his mind. Kota, what? And you know what? Whilst I'm here talking about the bad parts of Gaim, might as well talk about Mai. Mai straight up fucking sucks. She's awful. She's actually the second worst character in the entire show, and it's not even close. there's not much I can say because she's genuinely just that boring. She has no personality, and it's a reason why the whole Kamen Rider Gaim is bad because it doesn't know how to write women thing exists. It's because of Mai. Yoko is beautifully written. Mai literally just serves to be relevant in the last 3 episodes of the show, and that's it. She's fuck all for the rest of the show aside from comfort Kota. They really struggle to find something for her to do in this show. Now, don't get it twisted. As bad as I have been talking about Gaim for the last 10 or so minutes, this show is honestly immaculate. Those things that I talked about, especially with Mai and Kota, are such a minuscule portion of the show that it doesn't really matter. Mai ends up doing so little that you kind of just forget she's there, which kind of nullifies the fact that she's the second worst character in the show, because if you forget she's there, is she even really a character anymore? Michii is by far the worst part of Gaim, and I would genuinely give Gaim a good score, maybe even a full score, if Michii was any better written. Gaim is probably forever going to be in my top 3. I mean, I did wait a decade to watch it, so there's that. And obviously, with the fact that I heard everybody talk about how peak it was for, 10 years, there's obviously going to be a bit of bias there. But overall, I think I gave Gaim a 96.5 out of 100, which is mental. No show has come anywhere near that so far, but then again, I haven't really watched many shows since I finished Gaim over summer, so whoops. But yeah, I still love Gaim and I highly recommend it. I'm on to X-Aid now, which I'm hella looking forward to. Like I said, I've been loving pretty much every episode of that show so far. So, hey, who knows? We might have a new favourite on the table. I don't know, though. It's going to be tough to beat Gaim. Anyway, tomorrow I might release a video talking about Go-Go 5, which is a Sentai I see no one talk about. And I've got a few things I want to share about it. So, who knows? Anyway, like and subscribe so I can, feed my family with more oranges. Thanks.